Hi, this is Andrew Hirsch with some more thoughts about how Stonewall being my Stonewall and my involvement in LGBTQ rights, what we used to call gay rights back then. Of course, we meant gay in the large, inclusive sense. How that affected my life, and I became an activist for a long time with a lot of press coverages, a lot of press releases and news conferences, and my name was in the paper for a lot of LGBTQ stuff, and there really wasn't much spillover into my professional life, which also involved public policy. But once I was in the County of Monroe legislative chambers, and then a county legislator, Louise Slaughter, came up to me, and she looks at me and she said, "Andy, I just saw your name in a publication that didn't have anything to do with science or engineering or technology." And I looked at her and I said, "Yes, Mrs. Slaughter, you very well might have." And then she looks at me and says, "You know, Andy, that's going to make your career in public policy much more difficult." And I looked at her and I said, I accept that, that might happen. I think people are basically good, but yet that might happen. And she looked up at me and said, "I'm proud of you." And that was just so sweet. And it was an affirmation that fighting for these things, these human rights things, LGBTQ rights things, was the right thing to do. And following that, I had very little spillover between my activism, my gay rights activism, as I might say as an old person, and my public policy career. But those comments from Louise Slaughter, when I left Rochester to go become a national energy director in Washington, D.C., she actually wrote me a thank you note. And usually in government, it's the staff who writes the elected official a thank you note. But in this case, she sent me a thank you note. And I will always treasure that story from a very beloved leader here in Rochester.